Good morning, Year 4. Hope you've had a lovely weekend and welcome to Monday's English lesson. Right, jump up to your feet. You know what to expect now. We're going to start our lesson as we always do with our little bit of warming up our bodies. So off we go. What I'd like you to do first of all is we are going to stand up and bring two big arm swings forward. Okay, do that a few times. Well done, everybody. Right, now we'll go backwards with those arms. Okay, get those arms moving, moving shoulders as well. Well done. Okay, and then I'd like you to reach across and spinning with your arms out. Okay, well done. Right, and now reach up and back. With a big clap. Okay, go up. Well done, everybody. Okay, right, what I'd like to do now is do high knee marching, opposite elbow, opposite knee. Okay, get those legs right up. Well done, keep going. Okay, and now we to jog on the spot again, and we'll go all the way round in a circle, keep going. Well done, lots of energy. Get yourself going, go back the other way. Well done. Okay, what I'd like to do now, like to stand, legs puppet, and just do some squats and ups. And bring your arms forward. And you can tap your arms. Well done. Keep going. Well done, everybody. Right, and let's just finish with a few star jumps, okay? Nice big star. Big smiles on your faces. Okay. Well done, everybody. We are ready to sit down and do some work. Right, I was just about to show you the date and walk for today, and I've come and sat down and I found this box. How exciting. It's a very nice box, doesn't it? Shall we open it and see what's inside? Okay, let's have a look. Oh, there's someone in here that we will recognise. We have got Monty. There he is, look, Monty's back. But there's somebody else in the box as well. Another one, looking very similar, but just a different colour. And there's a little note. I'll read you the note. We might understand a bit more what's going on. Hi, Year 4, it's Monty. I've brought my friend Blueberry with me. Oh, so this must be Blueberry. We've got Monty. Every day we're going to hide and you've got to find us. Oh, so like they did before. Can you all close your eyes and we're going to hide now and then you can find us at the end of the lesson. Oh, that's a bit of fun, isn't it? Right. So Monty and Blueberry want us to close our eyes now and count to 5. So everybody close their eyes and count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we can all open our eyes now, and I wonder if we'll spot them at some point during this lesson. Okay. Right, so I've put up on the screen now the date and the walk for today, Monday, the 25th of January, to write a story. Now, what I'd like you to do is pause the video, write that down really neatly in your books, remembering to underline your date and walk and making sure you're using your beautiful joined up handwriting. So just pause the video and then I'll explain what we're going to do. Right, so if you remember on Friday, oh, it's a long time ago, isn't it? And there's a lot happened since then, but on Friday, you wrote a plan for your Maladile story. Some of you were given a story mountain and you wrote in some boxes, and others of you just planned it however you liked, like we've done in the classroom before, where you draw a line and you add the detail to your story. But hopefully now you have all managed to have a plan where you have got an opening, a build-up, a climax, a resolution, and a conclusion. And basically today you are going to be writing a story that is in 5 paragraphs, 1 paragraph for each of those sections. Now we're going to look at an opening and then I'm going to get you to try and write it. Then we'll look at the build-up and so on, so I can talk you through the things that we're looking for. But also in the folder for today, you will see that there is a success criteria and there is a different success criteria depending on which group you're in. So it might be an idea, if you haven't done so already, to pause the video and get that success criteria in front of you so you can have a little look of the sorts of things you're being expected to include in your writing today. Okay, I'm not going to read them all out because there's 3 different ones. So I want you to have a look and find the one that's for you and see what you need to include. Okay, so let's have a look at an example of an opening. And as we always say, it's fine if you want to steal some ideas, okay, for your own writing. What we don't want is to copy, but it's okay to take ideas and turn it into and use it in your own writing somewhere. So, dusk was upon us after a warm summer's day. The moon was awakening and its reflection glistened on the motionless lake. The occasional ripple created everlasting circles on the glass-like surface. On the other side of the lake, the great mountains faded as the light retreated. In a clearing in the forest, I sat perched on my makeshift bench around a flickering, dancing campfire. Surrounding me were towering pine trees that whispered in the summer's breeze. The crackling of the fire was intermittently interrupted by an owl tweeting. A few feet away, my green canvas tent, which had taken all of my energy to put up, was stood proudly waiting for its purpose for the night. Okay, so that is your opening, where you are setting the scene. Now, if you remember as well last week, you wrote a setting description, and you can take most of those ideas and use that for your opening. The only difference that we're doing in our story is we're now writing as if we are the little boy that is toasting his marshmallows. So you are doing it from his perspective, what he can see. Okay, so you can take your ideas, but you are going to write in the first person. That is saying, I could see this over there. I wondered what the night had in store for me. Okay, now as you go and do your build up, we have supplied you with a word mat. Okay, it looks like that. It's also in the folder for today's work. And on that word mat, there are some suggestions for fronted adverbials, conjunctions, and some of the key vocabulary you might need. So if you're running out of ideas for a good opener, have a look at this section here, which says fronted adverbials. Sorry, I've just moved it away. There you go. Okay, so what I suggest you do is pause the video and have a go at writing your opening. You don't want to take too long on the story. You maybe want 6 or 7 sentences for your opening. If you can't write that much, that's fine. Do your very best, but what we do want is for each sentence to be really quality, making sure that you've remembered your capital letters for your start, full stops for the end. Can you extend your sentences by adding in some super conjunctions? Okay, and we've got some on this board, on this list here if you want to check. Can you think about how you're going to start your sentences so they're really exciting and really interesting? Remembering a comma after a fronted adverbial, okay? And this is paragraph number 1. So pause your video and have a try at writing the opening. Right, hopefully you've done your opening. Now your build-up, you will need to look at your plan to see what you are going to include in your build-up. But generally speaking, it should be about the fact that Maladile is going to come over and you're suddenly going to encounter this Maladile, okay? It's not the point where you resolve any problems, okay? It's just you're sat there and the Maladile comes along. So we're going to have a little read of my example of the build-up. And again, if you like some of those ideas, pause the video, jot them down on a scrap of paper, and you can use them in your own writing. Have a look out for the fronted adverbials that I've used and see if there's any good vocabulary that you maybe want to steal. Happily, I sat watching the embers and smoke of the fire rising into the air, trying not to set my marshmallow on fire. Oh, sorry, I've read that incorrectly. Happily, I sat watching the embers and smoke of the fire rising into the air, trying not to set my marshmallow on fire. That's better. I didn't pay attention to the punctuation the first time. I was so encapsulated by the fire, I hadn't become suspicious of a rustling sound growing louder behind me. Snap. I froze. I suddenly became aware I was no longer alone. Crunch. Taking a deep breath, I clutched my stick tightly and slowly looked over my shoulder. A colossal being stood on hind legs, peered aggressively down at me. As quick as a flash, I spun round and thrusted my stick forward to defend myself. With glowing light bulb eyes and shards of glass for teeth, the monstrous creature snarled. My lip trembled and legs shook. What did this creature want with a poor, helpless scout like me? Okay, there's a couple of things I want to point out in that paragraph, so this is paragraph 2, our build up, I've used a couple of short sentences for effect. When you are trying to build up suspense and make your writing exciting, to add in a very short sentence can help to make it exciting. So if you want to steal that idea when you suddenly notice the Maladal is behind you, I froze, or a sound effect, snap or crunch. Okay, you don't want too many short sentences, but just 1 or 2 within a paragraph just helps to build up suspense. Think about the fronted adverbials you're going to use, okay? Maybe it's something you're doing, can be your fronted adverbial, okay? And then what you're going to do is use some of your ideas from last week's work when we were describing the Maladal to include some description. It's not a paragraph all about just what the Maladal looks like, but you can draw in some of the ideas. So maybe just say this huge thing that was stood behind you with bright eyes, little pointy ears, sharp teeth. You might just mention that, okay? And do you notice something else about this paragraph? I've finished it with a question. Now the question there isn't going to be answered straight away, but it's a question that makes the person reading your story want to read on. What did the creature want with me? And as the reader, you think, I wonder what they do want. And it makes you interested and want to read the story and carry on. Okay, so again, look at your plan, check what information you have said you are going to include in your build-up paragraph, okay? Now, when you start a new paragraph on your piece of paper, can you please misalign, okay? So it's really clear that this is paragraph 2. You don't need to label it build-up because we want it to be a continuous piece of writing, but just misalign between the first paragraph and this paragraph. So again, pause the video, have a go at your build-up. Right, we're ready now to do our climax, which is the main part of the story where something has to happen, okay? And in this part of our story, we're going to find out what the Maladal starts to do. So let's have a look. The amphibian-like creature looked like a cross between a frog and a crocodile. Standing tall, I could see his fern green colour with a white underbelly. His ears were small in comparison with his body that was at least the height of 3 grown men. Focusing on my gooey marshmallow, the aquatic creature's expression began to change. His eyes softened and his snarl morphed into more of a smile. To my absolute amazement, he leant forward and gobbled up the marshmallow with one bite. A look of delight spread across his face, and he began to leap around, as agile as a ballerina. As quick as a flash, I began to feed this ginormous, monstrous creature the soft, fluffy marshmallows that were in my bag. With each taste, he let out shrieks of delight and continued to perform dazzling tricks. Who would have thought that a large, scary creature could be tamed by some marshmallows? So that's my third paragraph. And in my paragraph, we've kind of sorted out a bit of a problem. We've started to feed the Maladal the marshmallows. Okay, again, I've left it with a question. You don't have to do that every paragraph. If you think it will help your story, then by all means ask a question. What I would like you to notice though, is the fact I've used 2 adjectives and remembered my comma for my description. So I've got ginormous with monstrous, soft and fluffy marshmallows. I think any more than 2 adjectives in a sentence starts to overdo it a bit. So just stick it with 2 adjectives when you're trying to describe a noun. Okay, so again, pause the video, look what's on your paragraph 3 section, have a go, miss a line from paragraph 2, have a go at writing this section. Okay. Right, paragraph 4, we're nearly getting to the end of our story. And what we need to be careful at the end of our story is that we don't rush it because we've had enough. It is hard doing a long story, and maybe you want to stop the video and do this in 2 parts. That's entirely up to you. But what we don't want to do is rush it and ruin all the hard work we did at the start because we were doing such a good job. So paragraph 4 now is, you will need to check on your plan because everybody's plans are slightly different, okay? But we're going to sort this problem out, hopefully. So, disaster struck. Digging deep into the bag, I quickly realized the marshmallows had gone. Bulging yellow eyes stared at me, razor-sharp teeth no longer smiled at me, but grimaced. He was not happy. In a blind panic, I tried to run away, but tripped over a strong guy rope by my tent. Landing with a thump, I grabbed the nearest thing I could to try to protect myself from the fast-approaching Maladal. Holding up my pillow, I quivered and shook in fear, wondering what was going to happen next. Okay, so in this paragraph, we've got to the point where the marshmallows have run out and you've fallen over trying to run away, trying to get away from this problem, okay? And again, notice I've used a variety of fronted adverbials, which you are very welcome to steal and use, okay? And each time I'm describing something, I'm trying to add some adjectives, I'm trying to add some detail. So again, pause your video, look on your plan. What are you including in paragraph 4, which is your resolution? Okay, how is your story unfolding? Pause the video, have a go at writing. Again, 5 or 6 sentences. It doesn't need to be reams and reams and reams of writing, okay? But just really try for each sentence to remember capital letters, full stops, conjunctions, and fronted adverbials. Those are the main things we want you to be trying to do. Right, we are ready for our final paragraph to finish our story. Okay. So once again, the Maladal's face changed back from anger to one of pure delight. Suddenly, I had an idea. He thought my soft pillow was a large marshmallow. Thinking fast, I threw the pillow as far away from me as I could, and to my relief, the Maladal went chasing after that. Letting out an almighty scream, I ran and ran as fast as I could to escape this nightmare. Not looking back, I ran all through the forest till I could see the flickering light of a cottage. Safety was in sight. Now, it's really important with your final paragraph that you get to the end of the story and we know what has happened to our characters, okay? Make sure as well that you don't just get bored and go, and then I ran away, the end. Okay, some of you do have a tendency to rush towards the end, so really try and slow yourself down and think that this paragraph is just as important as your opening paragraph, okay, to keep your writing going and keep that story interesting. So still in this paragraph, we're looking for adjectives, still fronted adverbials, and then get it to the point where the story has finished and your boy is, or you as the boy are safe. As I said to you at the start, okay, make sure that you look at your success criteria. I've got 3 different ones here and they're all labeled on the pack depending on what group you're in. So have a look, and when you've done your story, you can tick off, just like we do when we're in school, if you have included those things, okay? So really try and have a look and see if you've done those things. Do make use of the word map that we've also provided. You don't necessarily need to print that off. You maybe don't want that in front of you. You can have it up on your screen. It's entirely up to you. Now, when you have completed this piece of work, please can you get someone at home to take a photograph of it and send it in to us. This is the piece of work this week we'd really like to see, okay? Now, again, make sure that you are really working on your handwriting as well. It's been great to see the work coming in with children really trying to keep their handwriting neat and joined and making their tall letters tall and keeping the smaller letters all the same height. So that's another thing to remember. There are a lot of things to remember today. We've really got to think about all the things that Mrs. Bevins and Miss Morton go on and on to you about all the time in your writing and try and put them all together into one thing. So remember punctuation, paragraphs, description, fronted adverbials, conjunctions to make our sentences longer, and really neat presentation. Easy, isn't it? Okay, well, I hope you enjoy writing your story. And just before I finish, obviously at the start, Monty and Blueberry made an appearance and they've managed to hide from us. And I wonder if anybody has spotted them or whether you can see them at the moment. Okay, I hope you're all pointing at the screen now saying that you've seen them, because as I look round, I can see Monty's hiding here in this pencil pot. Here he is. And Blueberry hiding over in this pen pot. And here they are. So we'll find out what Monty and Blueberry are going to do tomorrow. Have a good day and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.